A lot in common.
A lot, man, definitely. We have a lot in common, which I'm very surprised that, you know, you have a lot going for yourself, man. You do, man. I mean, the way I found out about Devonn, funny stories, because I don't know how this happened, but I guess my sister knows you for some reason. So shout out to my sister, Alyssa. So yeah, supposedly she knew you, and I guess she reached out to you to reach out to me. And I guess it went from there.
Yeah, I know her because I know one of her friends really well.
We'll keep that on the down, right? We'll keep that on the down.
I'm not gonna say no names, but I know one of her friends really well. So it was literally a matter of her just reaching out and being like, hey, like, check out this my brother's thing. And I heard your remix on SoundCloud of I forget the song. It was God's Plan. And when I actually heard the remix, I was like, man, that's absolutely amazing.
Definitely,
it's
man.
a really good song.
Thank you. Yeah, I was working on that mashup. Took me, you know, I saw this song. You know, I found this song by this DJ, and he goes by Ricky X Sand.
All right.
And he's based out of California. So I heard that song, and I don't know, for some reason I don't know. I'm probably like a music guru or something.
Right.
But like, you know, at the time it was Drake's that song.
Yep.
You know, so. When I heard both at the same time, I'm like, well, this one's a hit in the electronic scene and this one's a hit in the rap scene. Let me try to combine those two, you know? So I combined them. I worked on a project on that, on my software. And it took me a while to try to like have the tempo come together with that song. So all of a sudden, just kept trying to transition it to fit that certain BPM with Drake, with his vocals in that track, and eventually came up with something. I don't know, it came out really, really beautiful.
It did, and I'll be honest with you, I don't know what a BPM is. So
it's alright. BPM, basically what it means is beats per minute, you know. So me as a electronic dance music DJ, it basically, around that time frame, it's basically anything within electronic music, it can base out of like, I would say 110, actually 100 BPM, which is slow. You know, that's kind of like that trap beat, like a slower trap beat.
Okay.
And then eventually up to 120, anywhere between 120 and 130, or 120 and 128. That's more like house music right there.
Okay.
So, which Chicago is very familiar with that back in the day. So, and then anything after that, for example, like 130 and up, that's more like trap. And then actually 130 to 150 or 160, that's like trap right there. Or it could be trance music too. So, but yeah, when I worked on that song, it took me quite a while to try to fix that up, and eventually came up with that, and it's going really good, man. Really good.
That's interesting. I never knew that about music and how it could, like, I think everyone's tried to make a beat before.
Right.
So
right.
like when you go in and there's the pace of the tick, tick,
Yeah.
tick, tick. Of course, I never finished any beats, but even with that, that's all I knew. To hear that actually BPM, there's a pace to it, and the's so much more that goes behind it.
Right.
It's actually kind of mind blowing. What's one example of a song that has like that that's commonly known that has like a slow BPM, if you know?
You know, that's kind of tough. I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. But what I usually do, for example, like what I technically do when it comes to music, let's say I'm doing a gig, you know, and of course you're always going to have people wanting song requests, which please, those out there, please don't request songs. Us DJs don't like it, but we love you. But no, as long as you know your crowd, then you should be fine. You should be fine with the music you have, and you know, a lot of times I have people that come up to me, oh, play this song, you know, or play that song, and like there was one time where I had at my college, at my university, where there was so many people that would come up to me, especially country girls. They would come up to me and be like, hey, can you play like Taylor Swift and stuff like that? And I'm like, it's gonna kind of throw down the vibe, because at the time, during that time, I would have the dance floor going. You know, I would be playing right there. I'd be playing like hip hop, like throwbacks and like R&B throwbacks and like electronic music too. You know, all combined together, and it had the dance floor going. And then one time, this girl, or a couple times, there would be country girls that would come up to me and be like, hey, can you play like Blake Shelton or Taylor Swift. Like, don't get me wrong, that's good music right there. I'm not gonna lie, country's really good. It's doing really good in today's era. I have no problem with it, but you know, when you're trying to DJ and you got the crowd going, you don't want to transition to something like that where it's gonna have the crowd die down and then people are gonna start leaving, or they're gonna start heading to the bar. You know, so it's kind of a struggle, you know. But yeah, that's a struggle. And then within BPM, like being a slow tempo song, yeah, I'm gonna have to think about that one because there's so many songs out there. So
caught you off guard.
Yeah, you really caught me off guard with that one.
What is the key to being a good DJ?
Key to being a good DJ, you just gotta have a good ear for music, man. Just have a good ear for music. You have to have a passion for it. Of course, you also gotta put in the long hours and long studio time. And you know, just actually the key. It's not only about being a DJ. It also is another thing that's within it is producing music. That's another thing. The way I put it is produce music first, then DJ. Because producing music, that's what's gonna take you to hit record labels. Record labels are looking for producers, and that's where the money's at, you know. And that's where you'll get gigs. You'll be able to travel, you know. So when it comes to that, producing music, that's key right there. Then it's DJing. So, but yeah, being a DJ, it's amazing, you know. I got many people that know me around the area, within the county area. And not only that, but at my university, my former university that I graduated from, Western Illinois University. So, yeah, and also in Milwaukee, I got a lot of people, and the same thing in Chicago. So there's a lot going for me when it comes to DJing. I've been doing it for like about 10 years now. Actually this month marks 10 years. Yeah. So 10 years of being a DJ, and then like 6 years of being a producer. So yeah, so it all has been going well, man. Going well.
Your resume is pretty deep for someone that's so young.
Yeah, for being, well, I guess you could say I'm getting in the books of getting older and older. I did see a little gray speck of hair on me the other day, so.
How old are you?
I'm actually 22 going on 23 in August. So.
Wow. You made it seem like you're like 30 or something.
No. I'm about to hit that stage. I already got gray hair coming.
I feel you, man. This, because I'm 22 as well, this, like, adulthood stuff is for the birds.
Yeah.
I'm not for it. Responsibility, paying bills, going to bed on time, like, nah.
Exactly. Yeah, and you know, that's a reality check. I'm already hitting that time, so, you know, I got a feel for that. Once I got out of college, once I graduated, you know, that feel of like, man, this is the real world now.
Yeah.
You know, it was tough, you know, and still to this day it's tough, you know. Just trying to work hard, trying to make that money, you know, trying to get out there more within gigs and stuff like that, so it's all going good.
Absolutely, man. Now, you brought up a good point I want to get back to. You said that labels are looking for producers. Are they looking for producers more than looking for rappers? Or
well,
it's
anything, you know. It involves rappers. It involves, you know, rappers who can produce. Because think of it this way, when it comes to DJing, a DJ is like a rapper, you know. Of course, they're not going to get too far. Us DJs, we ain't going to get far. Rappers don't make it that far either. So it's like we're both on the same page. When it comes to producing music, if a rapper knows how to produce a trap beat, or if a DJ knows how to produce a track, whether it's like within electronic music, and you send that to record labels, that's how you're gonna get gigs. That's how you're gonna be able to travel. That's how you're gonna make money. So that's where it can be a little bit of a struggle too, because there's so much competition out there. Mm-hmm. You got so many rappers. You got so many music producers. You got so many DJs that are music producers as well. You got so many rappers that are producing music as well. So there's a lot of competition out there. And at times it can be a struggle, it can be painful, it can be stressful. But you know, you just gotta work hard, put in that work, and prove to everyone that you're the greatest.
Yeah, one thing I will say, being in the creative realm, you know, as a radio show, such as yourself, it's to really be successful, you have to put yourself out there.
Exactly.
Rarely ever is there a middle ground where it's just like it's either you're doing it and you're not making money off of it and you're actually losing more money,
right? Or
you're doing it and you're like amazing at it. Rarely ever do you find someone in that middle ground where they're able to keep sustain a healthy lifestyle. Like by healthy, I mean, you know, being able to pay bills and living at home by themselves, they can support a family with this lifestyle versus not having to get paid off, live with their parents,
exactly,
or just making it and making a ton of money. So I think that before people really jump into this, kind of as what you said, they need to understand what they're doing.
Right, exactly. Yeah, you just need to put in that work, know what you're doing, and it takes a lot of passion. You gotta have the passion, and not only that, but there's times where, you know, you have to make sacrifices, and that's tough. It's tough, you know. There's a lot of sacrifices that I had to do, and within music and being a DJ, there's been times where I've had to turn down such amazing gigs, you know, and there's times where like family gets involved, and that can also be a struggle. I love my family to death, you know, and it can be a struggle at times, you know. And there's times where, for example, like my father, when I first started on DJing, you know, he how should I put this? He's like, you know, you gotta work hard, make money, because within, like, you know, you never know if this might not be the route for you or whatever. However he explained it, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but, you know, just my family, they just want me to work hard, you know, make money, you know, to be able to provide and support myself, you know, because one thing I do not want to do is just end up in the streets, you know, God forbid. So that's one thing that I'm trying to do, just work hard, trying to make my hometown proud, because well, I was born and raised in Waukegan, so shout out to Walktown. But I'm now living in Zion, Illinois, so shout out to Zion too as well. So and Brown Lake too. So
yeah.
But yeah, so there's a lot of sacrifices that you take within producing music or being a DJ, no matter who you are or what you do as a musician. It's a lot of sacrifices.
Yeah, me and my dad, actually, we got into it. This is like a couple months ago. Because pretty much, I forget how this conversation went, but in a sense, they were trying to explain to me the importance of having a job and this job here. This job here, I don't get paid, which is fine. Because you can't look at every opportunity that doesn't have a paycheck, and you can't turn it down. You can't do that. You're gonna miss out on so much stuff. He was pretty much explaining to me that I also need to make sure, in a nutshell, I don't want to misquote you, Dad, sorry for listening, that I need to make sure I focus on my job at hand, focus on what I'm doing, get my priorities right. And I used the analogy, and it made sense, where it's just like, yo, if the power goes out, or some magic knock on wood, power goes out, and you know, or they need somebody on air or something like that, even though I'm in Zion 35 minutes away, I would shoot up there in a heartbeat. Even if it's 3 o'clock in the morning, I wouldn't care, because this is what I need to do. This is what I want to do. I got to put my life towards it. Whereas, you know, not that he was discouraging me from it, and not that he discourages my dream. He's just trying to get me to understand, like, yo, like, you need to put yourself out to risk, but use caution. And I think that when you're dealing with your parents, or anyone that cares about you, and you want to go take risks, you want to do things, there's always going to be that pushback. And at times it seems like they're trying to hold you back, but really they just want you to be better.
Exactly. No, yeah, that's exactly you made a great point right there. That, you know, I don't know how to explain it well at that time, but yeah, you explained it perfect. You know, it's just they just want to make sure their son or daughter, whoever it is, they just want them to become better than they were, you know.
Absolutely.
So that, and of course, in the future when I have kids, I'd be the same way too. So I completely understand where your parents are coming from and my parents are coming from. So it makes a lot of sense, you know. They just want the best for their child. Absolutely,
and that's why I can't even be mad at it, you know. One thing I do want to ask you is, you know, typically when someone has a love for music, it starts when they're young. What happened? Is there like a part of time in your childhood where you fell in love with music, or did anything in your upbringing really geared you toward this career?
I would say, let's see, I gotta think back years, man. Let's see, I would say what got me into music, I want to say would be the time when I would go to Sweet 15s, like within because I'm half, okay, let me explain. I'm half Mexican and half Puerto Rican, okay? Yeah, I'm half and half. Okay, so so the thing is that, of course, on my Mexican side, there's always like quinceañeras, right? You know, the Sweet 15s, and so like at that time, I had cousins that were DJs, and they some of them still DJ, still till this day, and there would be times where I would go by them, you know, and then all of a sudden they're DJing, and I'm checking out their equipment, I'm looking at like their skills, their techniques, how are they, like, I found it eye-popping to me, you know? So I would always stand by them and like check out, like, oh my God, like this looks cool, and then they would show me, oh, like this is what you do and this and that, you know, with on turntables, because they would do it off of like old school turntables, like Techniques and stuff like that. That's real old school.
Yeah.
That's way before your time and my time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, they would spin off of that, and that actually like brought my attention to that, you know, within DJing. And on top of that, a couple years later, I want to say in 2009, that's when there was a video game which you're familiar, you should be familiar with, DJ Hero for the Wii.
Yes.
And that caught my attention on television. Just seeing the graphics on that and, you know, the whole music behind it, I was like, that's basically what my cousins do, you know? I should go out and buy this game. So with my birthday money that I had saved up, I went out, can't remember what store, I don't know if it was GameStop or whatever, but headed out there. At the time, I already had the Wii system, so I just needed that DJ Hero. I'm like, man, I gotta cope that game.
Right.
So eventually bought it with my birthday money at the time. At the time, I was 13 years old, and got it and started playing it. Brought it home, playing the game, and I loved the music behind it because you had electronic music, you had old school hip hop in there, and like new school like hip hop and like new school electronic music in there. So it was awesome, you know. So that really caught my attention playing the game, and then all of a sudden I found out DJ Hero 2 came out. Yeah. That also caught my attention, and so I'm like, you know, I gotta get that game too because I'm already hooked on number 1. Let me get number 2 as well. So at the time that was the Jay-Z and Eminem edition. Okay. So I'm like, man, I gotta coat my hands on that. So eventually bought that same thing, and then eventually I explained to my mom. I'm like, hey mom, like, you know what, I really like this game, you know, that I got, and what do you think of me becoming a DJ? And at that time I was 13 years old. Right. So she's like, you know, you do whatever your heart desires. You know, you go out there, and I know you can do it, and as long as you know what you're doing, as long as it makes you happy, go for it, you know. And so all of a sudden, like that, I went online right away, looked online and see like what can I get as a beginner DJ. Mm-hmm. And I found something online, and it was a package basically where I got like 2 studio speakers. Mm-hmm. and my first turntable, it was actually a controller, DJ controller that I got. Mm-hmm. It was called the Newmark Mix Deck controller, and that's how I started off. I would say it was like about maybe like 3 feet wide, 2 feet long, I guess you could say. But yeah, that's how I started off. And I remember my first gig. It's kind of funny and embarrassing at the same time, because my first gig was for a graduation party. All right. And at that time, you know, I was starting off, and at the time, the whole music within DJ Hero that captured my attention, you know. So what I did is I downloaded the music from DJ Hero, and I spun that at the graduation party. And at that time it was tough because people are like, okay, like, you know, what is this? This isn't what we listen to nowadays, right. You know. So that was a struggle for my first gig, you know. But then on top of that, I just learned my lesson. I practice more to get better and better, and just to try to eventually get like the vibe of like what people are listening to nowadays, you know, at the time, back in 2009, 2010. And, you know, I just picked it up from there, and then eventually started getting better and better, started getting gigs after gigs, started with birthday parties, ended up getting, working with my high school, both of my high school campuses of Waukegan, Brookside and Washington campus. So it was a lot on my plate, you know, and it was a good thing, you know, because I'm making business, you know, I had my own business going for me within DJing, and just, and then after that, after high school, started getting college gigs, doing college parties. Let me tell you, there's a lot of crazy college stories I gotta say, but we'll keep that off air. Of course. But yeah, college parties, let's see, college bars, college nightclub over there that I did over there, and also the radio station I used to work out there for as well, DJing in there. So you know, that's how I started off. That's how I started getting out there more and more. And now to this day, I'm getting more out there. I got 2 national awards within, thank you, within DJing on the radio. So I'm very familiar with the radio side of things. So 2 national awards, just trying to represent for Lake County, Illinois. So, and you know, because that's where my heart and desire comes from, because I was born and raised around this area. So, you know, just trying to make you guys proud out there in Lake County. So, yeah, man, a lot going.
Absolutely, that is a lot. One thing, and we said this off air. I want to make sure I say this on air. Lake County is a very unique place. It's because, like, if you're young and you're trying to do something, that it can either be really bad or really good.
Exactly.
It's like sometimes it's as much as about what you know, it's about who you know.
Exactly.
You know, like me, I got hired at this station. I didn't know jack about radio. You know, you know a lot of people. You worked your butt off as a DJ. You went starting as a kid, and then you made it. But you have other people who are trying to do the same thing we are in this area, and they can't get on.
Right.
Why? Excuse me. I think it's a matter of, again, knowing the right people, having the right skills, but also understanding opportunity is so limited here. And when you don't hop on it, you miss out on it. It's not like a bigger city like Chicago, New York, LA, where there's abundance of jobs. It's not like that out here.
Exactly.
Nothing changes here. The people, some people want to, like myself and you, we go out, we go get the change.
Exactly.
We make it happen.
That's how you do it.
Exactly, but to wait on it to happen. Whereas, you know, Chicago, New York, bigger cities, that you can wait, that change will happen. That stuff's always changing. Out here, no, you have to make it change. And I think a lot of people are missing that in their mind when they want to go do something with their life.
Exactly, and that's how you start off. You start off like that, and eventually you're going to end up somewhere. You know, that's how you start off. That's how I started off. That's how you started off. So I get where you're coming from.
Absolutely. Absolutely, guys. Just to let you know, you guys listening to In School Detention on WRLR FM 98.3. I'm here with DJ Reckless. You're listening to Devonn Overstreet. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're just at the halfway point. If you're just now tuning in, we just got the backstory of the best DJ in Lake County. This guy's really, you know, I'm sitting here, honestly, man, and I'm not going to be cheesy about it. Man to man, you really kind of inspire me. Like, you know, like, honestly.
That means a lot.
Well, one, you're a lot taller than I thought. His face was, but even with that, like, sitting here aside from someone who does the same thing that I do, just doing what I want to do on that level. 5 radio stations, I don't know though. I need to sleep. But, you know, it's stuff like that. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, man. I appreciate that. That means a lot to me. I get it. There's a couple people that have mentioned to me and told me that I inspire them, and it's very touching. You know, it means a lot to me. You know, that's very heartwarming. Like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys don't see me right now on the air right now physically, but I'm blushing. I'm not gonna lie. But no, it means a lot. You know, I mean, not only to me, but no matter who it is, whether it's a musician, a DJ, or whoever, you know, if you say that, like, man, you inspire me, that really makes their day. That really makes their day, their night, whatever. You know, it means a lot to them, as it does with me. It means a lot to me. So appreciate it, man. You're gonna go far. I know it.
Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. You know, they have to say you got to speak what you want into existence.
That's true.
And
That's true.
I'm focusing on speaking what I want. Like, pretty much, like I just said, into existence. And really just going after it. So to see other people like me, it really just makes things a lot more tangible.
Right.
Now, what are some of the drawbacks of being a DJ?
Well, like I mentioned in the first half, just sacrificing.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of sacrifices within family, like I mentioned, family, within my relationship too, with my girl. Same thing with her. It's difficult because it's like she wants my time, but then I also have to dedicate my time to music too. You know, it's a struggle. There's times where it's a struggle.
Mm-hmm.
There's times where I've had to turn down gigs, like I said, because of whether it's relationship-wise or family-wise and stuff like that. You know. But the way I always put it is family always comes first. Family comes first, music second, you know. And it's difficult because music's my passion, you know.
Absolutely.
But you know, as long as that's in second place for me, that's all that matters. That's all that matters.
That's good. That's good. What are your future aspirations? What's like your end game, your end goal, what you want?
Well, right now, just Scott mentioned that I'll be an on-air DJ, on-air personality at Energy 106.9. It's a radio station in Milwaukee.
If I had
So-
sound effects, I'd play it for you.
Yeah, so I just got the on-air personality position over there. I'll probably starting off on Saturdays, Saturday morning, Saturday evening, somewhere around that time. So yeah, I got that position. It took me about 8 months, 11 months to, no, actually 8 months, 8, 9 months to get to that position. And you know, I started off on promotions,
Mm-hmm.
working out promotions during that time once I graduated college.
Mm-hmm.
Went out to Milwaukee to find a job out there. Ended up with Milwaukee Radio Group. It's a radio group that holds 5 radio stations, which I work for.
Mm-hmm.
And from there on, got to meet a lot of on-air personality from all 5 radio stations.
Mm-hmm.
I get to hang out with them. They get to hang out with me. I get to hear stories from them, from their parents and stuff like that. So it's like they're my role models, within being a radio personality. So like I said, I started off on promotions, then moved up to board op, which is working the board in the studio, and then on I got recognized more and more. I guess word got passed along within the company, and they offered me the honored personality position. So I'll be starting that probably Saturdays or Sundays, not sure. I still gotta wait on confirmation from that. So I should be getting word on that.
Congratulations again, man.
Thank you, man.
Now, what's something that you thought, so when you started working at a radio station, before you start working somewhere, I'm sure everyone has like their conceptions of what they think it would be. What were some of your conceptions of you thought that working at a radio station would be like?
Let me see. It's tough to think about. There's a lot. To tell you the truth, when I first got to college, let me tell you this. When I first got to college, I didn't even know what I wanted to do. I started off, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know, because I was getting pushed, I'm not gonna lie, from my mother and my family. Getting pushed about being an architect, And, at the time, I'm like, okay, I guess that's where the money's at. But you see, the way I look at it is, money, that you got, the second thing is you got to base money off of your living.
Right.
That's where, money is everywhere, and it sucks. Money, it brings you down, money doesn't always bring you happiness, put it that way, And, that's how I looked at it. With being an architect, am I really going to enjoy that for the rest of my life? No. But, an architect, they do pretty cool things, it's interesting. But me personally, it doesn't, not for me, So then, when I got to college, when I got to Western Illinois University, found out they had a radio station. And I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool, because I'm a DJ, and maybe I could DJ on the air over there. That'd be pretty cool to DJ on the radio station over there. So eventually got to that point where I was DJing on the radio station over there at my university. It was called 88.3 The Dog, based out of Western Illinois University. And from then on, like I said, I got 2 national awards. Another coming my way. Well, one coming my way within those 2 in March. So actually over there in New York City.
What are those awards exactly?
Those two national awards. So the one that I got last year for 2018 was it's a national award, ranked top 5 in the nation. I was ranked top 5 in the nation out of other colleges and universities. So I was ranked top 5 in the nation for best specialty music show in the nation. So that's throughout the whole U.S. I was in the top 5. And within this year for 2019, got a different category, got ranked in a different category. So I'm ranked top 5 in the nation within the whole U.S. for best on-air personality. So it's a lot of fun, man. Being on the radio, it's a passion of mine. Just speaking on the air, it's awesome. It's amazing. And I'm sure as well as with you, man.
Yeah, I come here and time flies. Typically when you're doing something you love, hanging out with a girlfriend, hanging out with friends, you're doing whatever, time always flies. It's already 5:30, but it feels like we've only been here for 15 minutes.
Right, exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
So
exactly.
I think the hardest thing about doing what you love is finding out what you love.
Yeah.
To get there. That's the hardest thing. Me personally, I was in school to be a firefighter paramedic. If you know me since I was freshman in high school, I always say, I'm being firefighter paramedic. I was in paramedic school last year. It didn't really work out. I wasn't prepared for it, and mentally, maturity-wise, I wasn't ready for it.
Right.
That didn't work out. Took some time off. A month later, I knew a guy who knew a guy who knew a guy, and I just said, hey, I'd like to be on the radio. That'd be kind of cool. Flew off the band, 1, 2, 3. First show was August, and here we are in February.
That's good, man.
Thank you, man. So
putting in that work.
Yeah. Thank you, man. Not to steal the spotlight from you, but I said that just because I just think that it's a real testament to hard work and faith. I have a hard time putting faith in things, but I see you, and you've put a lot of faith in yourself. You took a lot of risks.
Oh yeah, there's plenty of risks. Plenty of risks. I mean, like I said, within family and relationship-wise, there's times there. You know, I'm not gonna lie, I went through a lot within relationships.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I lost an amazing woman in my life at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, college got to me at the time with DJing and stuff like that, the music and DJing at college parties and stuff like that. That all got to me. You know, but then there's a time in your life where it hits you, you know, where you hit that adult stage, you realize like, man, I messed up. You know, I wish I never did this. I wish I never done that. You know, and luckily, that beautiful girl that I had in my life, she's back in my life.
Oh,
so I am so thankful and blessed. Big shout out to my beautiful, beautiful girl, Diana Barrios. Shout out to her. She is an amazing woman. I don't know how she does it being with me. It's a lot of sacrifices that she's had to go through with me. So, you know, it's a lot. It's a lot, and she is an angel. She is a goddess. Put it that way. She is a goddess, and I don't know how she does it with me, but you know, she really supports me. She helps me out, and it means the world to me.
Behind every strong man is a stronger woman.
Exactly.
We always look at Obama, amazing guy, but Michelle.
Obama, yeah, no, she is amazing. She is
see what
amazing.
I'm saying? Now, you just told me you were going through down times. What are some of the ways that you push through these hard times with?
I would say music. Music, I mean, any individual. I mean, as long as you have the passion for music, you know, like I do. Mm-hmm. That's what got me through tough situations. There was times where, you know, I'd be listening to music, and of course, it'd bring me down. It'd bring me down through the down times. The music would pick me up. You know. So there was positivity within that, and not only on top of that, but whenever I was down or going through tough times, I would just either work on music or like find music. And, you know, just try to do something with music, you know, whether it was listening to music or DJing, you know, just practicing more and more. That got my mind, that cleared my mind, you know, off the tough times. So, yeah, music is, I don't know, there's something about music that
I agree.
That touches you, you know, whether it doesn't matter what genre. It could be hip hop, it could be electronic music, it could be country, you know, rap, whatever it is. It has a feeling to it. It touches you. And that's amazing. Mm-hmm. There's some type of science behind that. I don't know. I don't want to go into scientific terms because I'm not in school no more. But but there's something about it that, you know, it's like therapy. Put it that way. It's like therapy, and it puts you in a good mood. It brings good times, and I don't know. There's something about it.
I completely understand. It's art, and art. It's kind of hard to quantify or describe art sometimes.
Exactly.
You know, because it can be whatever. One thing I want to ask you is that when you went through these down times, you were so low. What's one thing or a few things that you learned about yourself? Because typically when we're on the brink or we're being pushed to our limits, that's when we truly find out our flaws, our strengths. What's something that you learned about yourself during those times?
You know, just trying to. I think one thing at the time is when I was going through tough times, I would just be so laid back. You know, either be lazy, not wanting to do nothing, but you know, being lazy and not doing anything, that ain't gonna bring any happiness. So by working hard and trying to get yourself out there, that's when I realized that, you know, I gotta push harder with myself. That's where the happiness is at. Mm-hmm. So that's how I got through tough times, by me pushing myself, trying to get through tough times with that, and not only that, but also just getting involved more with my family too. You know, there was times where being far away from at college, you know, there was times where I would be down because I'm far from family and stuff like that. So I would miss out a lot on family events and parties and stuff like that I really miss. And you know, my family means the world to me. Whether it's my grandma, my uncle, my grandpa, my mom, my dad, my sisters, you know, no matter who they are, they all mean the world to me. You know, and that's where that family, like I said earlier in the show, family always comes first, and that's where passion has to be through all times. You know, you can't let go of your family. Your family always is going to be there. And through tough times, music and my family were always there.
Now, what are some things that you've learned about the entertainment industry that you had to learn the hard way? Like you just had to learn this through experience?
Well, one thing that I learned was basically learning how to produce music. That was a difficult thing to learn because there's so many softwares out there, whether it's what I don't know if you're familiar with it, like Fruity Loops, Logic, Pro, Ableton, and like other softwares out there.
I've never used them, I've heard.
Yeah, there's so many out there, and like putting myself out there, it was difficult, you know, as a DJ. But then I was watching YouTube videos where they're like, you gotta produce music in order to get yourself out there more. And that's where the record labels they're looking for musicians, producers, to get yourself out there. That's where the traveling is. That's where the gigs are. So that's when I started. When I started off with Logic, Logic Pro, and that's where I started off. And it was difficult, you know, trying to produce music at the time. You know, the music that I was producing at that time, it was like 7 years ago, around that time. It was difficult, you know. It doesn't sound like nothing. It sounded, put it this way, it sounded like an Atari game. I'll put it that way. It sounded like a game back from like the 1980s. Right. That's how it sounded. So, you know, it was a struggle trying to learn, but then eventually just trying to, you know, YouTube helps. That big shout out to YouTube, because that's where I learned a lot, you know, and I wouldn't be where I'm at if it wasn't for YouTube, put it that way. So YouTube helps out a lot, and that's where I was learning more about producing music and stuff, and you know, and one of the hardest softwares right now, that, in my opinion, is Ableton. That one's a struggle, and I'm still to this day trying to figure that one out. So
I probably wouldn't do any good at it because you know what? I'm still using Audacity, and I can't stand it. I hate Audacity.
That's how I started off. Audacity, which if many of you are not familiar, basically Audacity is a free software where you can produce music. You can do remixes off of there. You can edit, do all that within music, or like do voice recording. So that's the software that we're talking about, and it's free to download. You know, there's nothing behind it. But like I said, or like you mentioned, Audacity. That's basically like a starting point for any producer or DJ or whoever you are within audio or whatever it is the case may be. But yeah, I'm very familiar with Audacity, and that's how I started.
Absolutely, man. So if you notice, I keep checking my phone. I just want to let you know, my co-host, who's normally here, Pierce, as I said, he cannot be here, guys, if you're looking for Pierce. But he wants me to ask this question. Could you see yourself possibly going into any other mediums of entertainment? Like, you know, you produce, you're on the radio. What else can you see yourself doing?
Well, I do have people that, especially my grandma. Let me put it this way. My grandma, she's like, you look like you'd be a model. You look like you'd be well, I mean, of course, right now I don't look good right now in the studio right now. I'm wearing like a hat. I'm wearing joggers, you know, because nobody can see me. But
exactly. Studio. I was telling my mom that the other day. She's like, "Where's my pants?"
Yeah, exactly. So, put this quote unquote. My grandma, she always says, you know, you look like a model. You should be a model. You could be a TV star. You know, and I'm like, Grandma, that means a lot to me, but I don't think I can go for that. You know, I ain't that good looking. I ain't like a Channing Tatum or anything like that. But yeah, so yeah, she tells me that. But I do, like within college, my backup plan that I have on my resume with my degree is I could also be a TV news reporter or a reporter or anything within media. You know, I could do concerts within media, and if we have like a videographer, I could do interviews with celebrities or musicians and stuff like that. So that's another thing that I have on my degree that I could do. So yeah, there's a lot that I could do. Whether, you know, first for me was radio. My backup plan was working for record labels, and then the third thing would be whether it's within anything within media. So like working concerts, doing news or anything like that. So yeah.
What are some things that make you unique as a radio personality?
I guess you could say being on air or like DJing, whatever the case may be. I think when it comes to me, I think the creativity, I'm not gonna lie, I am pretty creative when it comes to music, you know. Maybe not on the on-air personality, but when it comes to music, I'm very creative on that. You know, I love combining like different unique sounds that that's not out there that I can combine with today's hits, whether it's like within rap or hip hop or pop, top 40, anything like that. That's one thing, and also throwbacks as well. That's one thing that I love to do on my creative side. Like I got a song that's coming out that I worked on that's coming out March 8th, and it's coming out March 8th, and it's gonna be on SoundCloud. And I don't know, the way I came up with that, it's amazing. And same thing like when you checked me out for the first time, heard about me for the first time with the Drake song that I mashed up together, and I still play that to this day. It's a banger. It's a banger. So I would say the creativity within me it's something that I'm grateful to have. It's just creativity and having a good ear for music.
Speaking of good ear for music, who's your favorite artist?
I would say my favorite DJ. Okay, I'll give you an artist and a DJ. Put it that way. Okay, right. I'll say favorite artist. Whew. Let's see. There's so many out there. I would say. That's a tough one. There's so many, man. You put me on the spot right there.
Can I get some of your favorite artists?
I would say a couple. I do like Eminem. With his background and stuff like that, where he comes from, he talks about his life stories. He's a great guy that I enjoy. Chance, the rapper, what he's doing with Chicago, trying to support, do the same thing. Within his community, that's another guy that's very inspiring. And then like when it comes to a DJ, which I'm actually going to see him this Saturday, I might meet up with him, hopefully. We'll see. But he goes by Blau.
Okay.
He's based out of Las Vegas. Mm-hmm. I've been to so many of his shows. I've met him twice. So I'll probably meet him again this upcoming Saturday in Chicago. He's coming out to Chicago to perform at Prison Nightclub. So so he's a big role model of mine. Put it this way, he's like the Chance the Rapper of electronic music. Put it that way, because he is helping out communities. He's building schools that don't have like places that don't have education systems that are broken basically, and he's trying to bring education to those kids' lives. And by building schools, providing education for them, so that way they can too be something like him. So he's just like he's very inspiring. He's basically, like I said, the Chance the Rapper of electronic music.
That's pretty amazing. That's dope. When do you feel like the most creative? Is there like a time where you're maybe doing something in like a normal routine and you just feel like I know I can whip something up right now?
I think the best times when I'm creative is when I'm alone. Being alone, that's where I can mentally focus on one thing. Mm-hmm. If I have too many people around me, or like if there's noise around me, I can't focus. Mm-hmm. So I think when it comes to being creative, on my creative side, just being alone and being in the studio or working on music, that's where the creativity comes in. Mm-hmm. So
that's pretty good. Now, there's always like good luck charms, like athletes, they have a routine for every game. Before you go on air, do you have a routine?
No, I don't necessarily have a routine, no. But like what you mentioned, good luck charm, I do have this necklace. It's many of you can't see it, but basically what it is, it's a necklace that I purchased online on Amazon. I found it and I really liked it. Basically what it is, it's headphones, since I'm a DJ. It's headphones and it's a necklace. So that's like my good luck charm. And I also have like wristbands as well. One of them is the DJ we mentioned, who goes by the name of Blau.
That is dope.
So yeah, this is.
Where can I get it?
You can actually get it on electricstyles.com.
Tell me, yeah. But I'll think definitely later.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, what you brought up about him, Blau, am I saying correctly?
Yeah, Blau.
What you brought up about him is what's really cool is that he's someone who has a platform, who has privilege, who has a lot of voice than others, and actually does something in the community. Because it's one thing, huge pet peeve of mine is when you see these celebrities, whether they're rich or they're not, and they don't use their platform to promote positivity or to do something better. Like, you have the one thing millions of people will kill for, and they're not even going to use it to say something positive,
right,
or even do anything. You don't have to give up millions of dollars of money. You don't have to do that. That's cool. But if you just speak on a topic, show up somewhere, initiate something, that's more appreciated than anything.
Exactly. And that's exactly the same thing that I want. What he's doing, what him and Chance are doing, is, like I said, giving back to the community. That's basically one thing that I want to do too. You know, for Lake County. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Waukegan or Zion or Round Lake or North Chicago or, you know, whoever it is around this area. That's one thing that I want to do is give back. You know, try to help. Like, if we need a better school system, I'll help build a better school system. Exactly like what Blau is doing, or like with Chance, donating money to better education or stop gun control and stuff like that. You know, within Chicago, that's something that I would do too. You know, it's just you just gotta work hard. That's one thing that I'm trying to keep doing. Just working hard, and eventually get to that point.
The only thing we can do at this point is just work hard, and it feels like it's so far away. Like, a lot of times when you're doing something, you want to do something so bad, you go and you do it, and then you're like, is this it? Because you had this crazy high expectation.
Yeah.
And sometimes we lose touch and we forget to be humble for what we actually have.
That's true. No, you have a good point there. And it's tough, you know, you just gotta working hard, there's a lot within it, you know. And like we mentioned earlier in the show, there's a lot of sacrifices. So working hard, and then another thing within like money, you know, money is always going to be there and stuff like that. Money, like I said earlier, it's not always going to bring happiness.
No, it's not.
You know, there's always times where you start off not making money, you know, and that's where you got to start. That's how I started, you know, with DJing, and, you know, eventually worked my way up. Opened up for Waka Flocka, opened up for Jesse McCartney, opened up for several famous DJs too, and I might open up for another one who goes by Slushy, who's friends with Marshmallow, stuff like that. So there's a lot going to it.
Yeah, and one thing that really bothers me is wasted potential. You see people who are on the career path of doing great things, but then to be like, you know, I need this job. I'm just gonna stay here and just work and get a check. It's like, nah, man, you can do something else. Like, hey, you're a really good athlete. Why don't you try proving against CLC? Or, you know, you kind of nice at music. Why don't you try to rap? But people give up on that.
Exactly. No, exactly. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie. There was times where I stopped DJing for about a year and a half. I would say I stopped. You know, and eventually I picked it back up. I'm like, man, you know what? I gotta get myself out there. You know? If I want to get further and further with my passion, I gotta work hard. You know. So eventually, just picked it back up, and then got gigs after gigs, more gigs, and then stuff like that. You know, it's just tough. You know, and then also on top of that, me being at my university for 4 years, before I went to college, many people especially in Waukegan, because where I'm from, many people in Waukegan knew me, you know, because of DJing and stuff like that. So it's like I already had my name out there, you know, I already made a name for myself out there. But then, like, being away for 4 years, it's like, okay, where did Reckless go? Where is this guy? He's like, what happened, you know? But then, you know, me graduating from my university, coming back to Waukegan, stuff like that, I just had to rework hard, basically.
Yeah.
Just work again, trying to get my name out there again. So, yeah.
Now, as we grow older, we change. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. What are some of the changes that have happened in your life that you are the most proud of? Like your growth, whether it be something in your personal life, it could be, you know, I finally able to squat such amount. What is something in your life that you were the most proud of that has changed for you?
I think the thing that changed for me that makes me really happy is getting the position for on air in Milwaukee, because it takes years. I'm telling you, it takes years of hard work to get to an on-air position on the radio. It takes a lot of years. That's one thing not many people realize or see within the radio industry. And just working hard, me being able to have the opportunity within 8 months, already about to get an honor position. So, you know, comparing that to years of hard work and 8 months of hard work, that's very catching to me, and that's a big change that I realize that I'm very proud of, you know. So, and on top of that, just everything that's on my resume, the 2 national awards that I have within radio. So, yeah, that was the greatest happiness change there.
I think also when stuff like that happens, it's a sign. You know, I don't know if you're religious or not, but I think I take things that happen that are like, wow, how'd that happen? A sign from God. you know.
No, exactly. That's true. There's times where I'll feel like that too. Like there's times whether it's like um, when I come up with something within music, it's like, wow, how did I come up with this?
Right.
This is a sign, So there's times where I get that feel too. I know exactly where you're coming from.
How do you deal with people who try to drag you down? Whether it be through social media, which is where a lot of it goes through, or it can be someone in person. How do you deal with that in person?
Haters will always be my motivators. Put it that way. Haters will always be my motivators. If they're hating, hate all you want. I don't care, because I'm working hard to what I want to get to. And you can go ahead and you can complain, you can hate on me, but the thing is, they want to bring you down. They don't see the potential in you. And I like to prove you wrong. That's one thing I like to do, is prove people wrong. And by proving them wrong, it's like, eventually they're gonna need you, basically. So in the long run. For example, let me tell you this. There's times, people at the time in my high school, people brought me down. Because over here in Lake County, the big thing is like hip hop and rap and stuff. I have nothing against that. I like it. I play it in my gigs and stuff like that. But I was hooked on electronic music in high school. So being at high school, I would show people like the type of music I listen to. And they're like, what is this and stuff like that? Or like, we never heard of this. Change it and stuff like that. I'm like, So that right there, it was tough, trying to fit in. But then like eventually they're like, oh, I hate, like, do something else, like change the music, or why aren't you into rap and stuff like that? So then eventually, as I worked harder and harder within DJing and stuff, getting gigs and opening up for famous people, that's when they realize like, oh wow, this kid really is doing something. Then they want to get in touch with me and be like, oh, how you been? I see all this success. We should hang out. It's like, oh, you want to be like that since I'm getting somewhere in my life. But how come you weren't like that before, when I was in high school, when we were together like that? That's one thing that's one of my pet peeves that I cannot stand, is people like that. Why couldn't we be like that the time when I wasn't known, but then all of a sudden when I'm more known, you want to hang out. You realize that I'm putting myself out there now, getting well known. So yeah, there's always gonna be haters.
Absolutely. Well, unfortunately, we are out of time. With that, where can people find you at?
You can follow me on all my socials at RecklessDJ96, whether it's Snapchat, Instagrams, Twitter, Mixcloud, SoundCloud, whatever it is, whatever the case may be. And also, as well, don't want to take away from your shows, but on Fridays, I am on the air on Mixcloud for Reckless at 7. That's my radio show. It's on Mixcloud.com. I mix live for 1 hour, Friday nights at 7 p.m., and it's titled Reckless at 7. So definitely check that out, Mixcloud.com/RecklessDJ96.
Thank you so much for coming down, man. This is a really good conversation.
Thank you.
I really enjoy talking to someone like you, and it really inspires me.
Definitely
go forward to what I want to do, man. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You guys can find me on Facebook at Devonn Overstreet, Facebook and School Detention, Twitter at DStreets815, Instagram at devonnalan, and of course, you can find me here every Monday, 5 to 6 p.m. on 90.3. Thank you guys so much. Have a good day.
Peace.